What's up everybody, Nick Brengle here, and today we're talking about how I color grade my videos and films with Lutz and shooting in Slog-2, and just a little bit about how I do what I do when it comes to color. Now, before we jump into Final Cut Pro, or for some of you, Adobe Premiere, I want to talk a little bit about the decisions that I make, why, when, color profiles, and things like that in camera before we sit down to edit our video. So for me, shooting with the Sony A7S Mark II, and probably a lot of you that have an Alpha Series camera, you have the ability to shoot in a number of different color profile options, from standard picture profile all the way to S-Log3. For me, I pretty much 100% of the time shoot in S-Log2, and it's just flat enough for me to get all that color depth, all that dynamic range, and everything I need to sit down at the computer when I edit and get plenty of that rich color back when applying LUTs and doing any color grading of that nature. So some of you may ask, what is S-Log2? What is a log format? You've probably heard it before, and even for me, it's pretty complicated. It's over my head. So in layman's terms, S-Log2 or even S-Log3 is a very flat color profile that allows for the maximum depth and color dynamic range, so that when you sit down at your editing station and you start to do a color grade, you can get maximum color back. You can pull down the shadows, throw up the highlights, saturate, desaturate, throw on LUTs, do all that fun stuff that you see in films and movies and just great videos here on YouTube. So right now I just want to give you a basic test. This is just me sitting here talking to you. Throughout this video I'll show you different clips, and some you've already seen, with different LUTs applied and different color grades that will also be labeled, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But as I'm talking now, I'm just going to kind of go through the process and show you how flat this picture profile is in S-Log2 and then what it can become. So you have S-Log2, which is right now, it's flat, it makes me look kind of weird, and then you throw on a LUT. There's the LUT. This is just the LUT, throwing it on there, and now we're going to do a little bit of a color grade. And there is your final product right there, this beautiful face. That's why you come back time and time again to watch my videos, because of this mustache. Okay, so once you have your project done, titles, transitions, music, sound design, everything's done, color grading, at least for me, is the last thing that I do to finalize a project. And that's because it just takes the most time to render on your computer, and it takes a lot, especially when you're shooting in 4K. It just can be a lot on your machine. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into Final Cut Pro here. And as you can see, these are some clips that you've already seen in this video, and I'm just going to kind of show you a little step-by-step of what I do. So let's just, for fun here, here's an old clip. This is from a project about a year ago, and as you can see here, it was shot in S-Log2, and it's very flat right now, of course. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause it there, and I'm gonna go over here. I have, what I use is a base grade, and I don't know why there's a look grade. I have no idea. I drop a base grade on this, and let's see, here we go. And basically from there, you can apply whatever stuff you want, effects, onto that layer, throw it across your entire video. If you're looking to use the same color grade for your entire video, you will have to make minor adjustments for certain clips. That's without saying, really. And so basically you have your base grade on here, and Final Cut Pro has a built-in Lut utility now, which is nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that. And once I'm up here, here's my custom Lut. Right away on my mix, like I told you, I bring it all the way down to 35 right away. I wanted to mention briefly a few different Lut packages and what I use. So for the most part, when I'm like this talking to you, I use a Kodak film stock, and that is through Color Grading Central. And they have, it's a free package, Impulse Lutz. You can go on there, it's free. I'll have the links down below. And it's Kodak, Fujifilm stock. And it's nothing, you know, it's nothing amazing, but I use it, and obviously I make adjustments to it as needed. Another package through Color Grading Central that is not free is the Motion Picture Films Lutz, and that is, I believe, I don't know, it's like $100, maybe a little more than that. There'll be a link below, but that's an awesome package, and I'll show you right now. Some of those are in here. So you have Blade Runner, The Graduate, Grand Budapest Hotel, Hannibal, Mad Max. Another one I really like is by Vision Color, and those are the Osiris Lutz, and that's a great package as well. It's not free. It costs money. I don't remember how much. And another free one is lutify.me, and again, I'll have all the links down below, but these are all really good packages and just Lutz you can play with and find one that you like and you want to use, you know, pretty much. And yeah, so anyway, so here you have the different Lutz, and I'm just going to go ahead right off the bat. I'm going to throw Mad Max on there. Everybody loved the color in Mad Max, right? Oh, boom, there you go. So you throw this grade on here, and as you see right off the get-go what it looks like, it kind of gives it that oversaturated warm look, and now we just went back out of it. And so basically from there, what you would do, if I was going to stick with the Mad Max, I would go ahead and also apply a color board to this grade, and I would go in and make my adjustments when needed for saturation, exposure, if you want to do anything like that, bringing down the shadows, up the shadows, mid-tones, whatever you want to do with those. If you wanted to bring a little more blue back into it, you can play around with this for a long time, almost too long, and you can kind of lose yourself. So try to just settle for something and walk away, because otherwise you will sit here all day and night and grade. So this is what I do. This is how I grade. I just sort of find something I like, I go for it. I obviously lean much more towards the cinema and film look, and I try to stay away from standard picture profiles at all costs. So as we wrap up, I just want to give you a few tips, tricks, and things I've learned over the years. I've been kind of doing this in the last few videos. And so the first thing is, I've mentioned this before, and that is doing test shots. And this is very important when shooting in a log format like I do with S-Log, because in camera, or what I'm seeing here on the monitor, is very flat. I have no idea really what I'm getting. I'm using my histogram and my metering, and I'm making sure all that's correct. But I like to do a quick test shot, throw it in, throw a LUT, throw a grade, and then say, okay, that's what I want. That's how I want the lighting. That's how I want it to look. Another tip is exposing your camera properly. Like I just mentioned, your histograms, your meters, look at your monitor, look at yourself, get a monitor so you can see what you're doing and make sure you're exposed correctly. The good thing with log formats and shooting in a flat picture profile is that it's a little bit more forgiving when it comes to shooting in the moment, but you definitely still want to make sure you're exposing your camera properly. It'll make it much easier in post. The last thing I want to mention, and I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again, is do not over edit, over grade your footage. It looks really amateur and just, it sucks. So for me with LUTs, 35, 45%, somewhere in there. For some of you, it might be 50%, depending on the program you're using. For me, it's 35 to 45% that I dial back down to with the Lut, because otherwise it starts looking just grungy and gross. Okay, well, that does it for this video. Hopefully you learned something from me on this. Maybe you did, I don't know. Yeah, so like always, smash the like button if you have any questions about any of the Lut packages that I mentioned, any of my color grading skills or faults, or you just don't like the stuff that I said. Let me know down below. Ask any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And as always, if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be awesome, because, you know, videos like this keep coming out and I just keep pumping stuff out, which is cool. So subscribe. You might like what's next, the next video. I don't know. Go for it. And if you already are subscribed, thank you so much. This is awesome. This momentum that I keep uploading is exciting. And yeah, till the next one, what a day. You talking to me? You talking to me? There's no one else here except you and me, so you must be talking to me.